Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Today we are doing an English lesson about question tags, and this is going to be about the advanced rules. So, this is part 2 of a series of videos about question tags. So I have already done part 1, and in part 1 the basic rules, you learned the meaning and use of question tags and also the form of question tags, and I explained the 4 rules for you. So it's important to watch part 1 before this video, okay? And the link is on the screen now at the top, and it's also in the description of this video, okay? So, in this lesson, in today's lesson, you will learn the advanced rules of question tags. You will learn how to change the meaning with intonation, how to make requests with question tags with imperatives, using there as a subject, and question tags with the words nothing, everything, nobody, somebody, etc. Okay, so are you ready? Let's start with this. Changing the meaning with intonation. So what is intonation? Well, it is the rise and fall of the voice in speaking. So when we're speaking, and I'm not talking about volume, I'm not talking about the loudness, I'm talking about the pitch. Okay, so when you, so it's the rise and fall in pitch of the voice. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. The context is birthdays. So look at this. Look at this question tag. Here we have the sentence, and here we have the question tag. And if it is a real question, then the voice goes up at the end, at the question tag. So if we want this to be a real question, and a real question is, we really want to know the answer. We do not know the answer, and so we're asking a real question. So listen to my voice at the end. It's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it? It's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it? Notice how here the pitch goes up, isn't it? Okay, so when you hear that, the person is really asking you the question. They want to know the answer. They do not know the answer, so they want a reply. But if it is not a real question, then the voice goes down. And when I say it's not a real question, I mean the person already knows the answer. So they're just making a comment, really. They're just making conversation. So you can see it here. So listen to my voice when I say this one. It's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it? It's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it? Now compare them. I'm going to say this one, and then I'm going to say this one. It's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it? It's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it? Okay, you can hear the difference. So it's exactly the same words, exactly the same sentence, but the meaning is different, very different. Here we do not know the answer. We want an answer to the question. And here we know the answer. We're just making a comment. We're just making a conversation. We're just mentioning that it's your birthday tomorrow. Okay? So it's very important to listen to the intonation and to use this difference in intonation when you're speaking. Okay? Let's look at some more examples. So a real question: the train arrives at 10 o'clock, doesn't it? Not a real question: the train arrives at 10 o'clock, doesn't it? Real question: Jane hasn't called me, has she? Not a real question: Jane hasn't called me, has she? Okay, so you need to practice. This needs a lot of practice, but it's quite an advanced rule because it's exactly the same sentence, and it's just the pronunciation which is different. Okay. Making requests. We can use question tags to ask for help or information. And we use the form negative sentence followed by affirmative question tag. You couldn't carry my bag, could you? You couldn't carry my bag, could you? So here we're asking someone to help us carry our bag. We're asking for help. Notice here this part is in the negative, couldn't, and here it is in the affirmative, could. You couldn't lend me your pen, could you? You couldn't lend me your pen, could you? Negative, affirmative. So this is the question tag. You haven't seen my keys, have you? You haven't seen my keys, have you? Negative sentence followed by the affirmative question tag. And here we have, this is the present perfect, haven't seen, in the negative. Okay? So we can use question tags with this form to ask for help or information. Question tags with imperatives. An imperative is a verb without a subject, and we often use an imperative to give an order or to make a request. Close the window. So this is an example of an imperative. Close. There's no subject here, but we're giving someone an order. We're asking someone to close the window. And after an affirmative imperative, we use will you or would you as the question tag. So example, close the window, will you? Close the window, will you? Okay, so this is the question tag and this is the imperative. And as I say here, we can also say would you. This is slightly more polite, but the meaning of both of them is the same. Close the window, would you? Okay. After a negative imperative, we also use will you, but not would you. So we only use will you after a negative imperative. Example, don't close the window, will you? Don't close the window, will you? Okay, so we're telling someone not to close the window. And here we use only will you as the question tag. Question tags with let's. Let's with an apostrophe s is the contracted form of let us. So let's followed by a verb in the base form is an imperative in the first person plural. First person plural. And we use it to make a suggestion. Let's go to the beach. Okay, so this is the imperative in blue. Let's go to the beach. Now let's look at this with a question tag. Oh, sorry, here's another example. Let's watch TV. Okay, so again, this is the imperative. There's no question tag here yet, But now let's look at this with a question tag. So after let's and a verb, so after this imperative, we use shall we as the question tag. Let's go to the beach, shall we? Let's go to the beach, shall we? So this is a suggestion in the first person plural. Let's go to the beach, shall we? Let's watch TV, shall we? So we are making a suggestion. Okay? Using there, the word there, as a subject. So can we do this? Well, the answer is yes. We can use there as a subject in the sentence and question tag. There is a problem, isn't there? So there is a problem, isn't there? So we're using there as the subject in the first part of the sentence and also in the question tag, isn't there? Okay, and again notice we have the affirmative here and the question tag is in the negative. I explained this more in part 1 of the video, of this series of videos, so don't forget to watch part 1. There isn't a problem, is there? So this is an example of the sentence in the negative and the question tag in the affirmative. There isn't a problem, is there? And again, there is the subject and there is the subject here. There was a rat in the kitchen, wasn't there? And in the negative, there wasn't a rat in the kitchen, was there? Okay, so we have there as the subject and there as the subject here in the question tag. And it's the same here. There is the subject and we use there as the subject here in the question tag. Okay, so we don't only use personal pronouns in the question tag. We can also use the word there. Okay, so this is quite advanced. Oops, I think I've just gone too quickly. Just hang on a second. No, that's fine. Let's carry on. So question tags with nothing, everything, nobody, somebody, and other words similar to this. If the word nothing or everything is the subject of the sentence, then we use it in the question tag. So in other words, we consider this to be singular in the question tag. Example, nothing was working, was it? Nothing was working, was it? So this is the subject of the sentence. Nothing was working, and it's in the singular here. Nothing, that's why we have was working, and it's also singular here. So we replace the word nothing with the personal pronoun it, which is third person singular, was it? And it's the same with the word everything. Everything is perfect, isn't it? Isn't it? So again, this is the third person singular personal pronoun it. So it's singular here and it's singular here. We replace this with it. Okay. Now let's look at nobody, somebody, everybody. If nobody, everybody, and somebody is the subject, then we use they in the question tag. So this is the exception. This is the one that people find difficult. So we say nobody was working, were they? So here it is singular. Nobody was working. So this is the sentence, but in the question tag it suddenly becomes plural. Were they? So we use the third person plural pronoun, and the verb agrees with it. Okay, so was becomes they. Sorry, was becomes were. Okay, because they were is third person plural of the verb be in the past tense. Everybody is late, aren't they? Everybody is late, aren't they? So everybody, here we consider it to be singular, and we can see that because we use is. Everybody is late. But here in the question tag, it becomes plural, and we say they. And the verb changes from is to are, because this has to agree with they. So this is quite an advanced rule again. And finally, somebody will help you, won't they? Somebody will help you, won't they? So again, somebody is replaced by they, third person plural, in the question tag. Okay? And again, if you want to know the rules for why we say were here, why we say aren't, why we say won't, then I cover all of that in part 1 of this series. So I told you at the beginning it's important that you watch part 1 to understand the 4 rules for the form of question tags. So don't forget to watch that. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson. Hope you learned a lot of things. If you're preparing for the IELTS exam, then click here for information about our IELTS online course. And here are some other videos I recommend.